Yeah, hello everyone. Hey, hi Rahul and Chinmay. We'll wait for a couple more minutes. So I could still see people are joining.
Chetan, let's wait for 2 to 3 minutes, and after that, I think we can start.
Yep.
Till the time we start, can I know the audience? Can you just put what is your job profile and what like what you basically do on your day-to-day task so that I can pitch my session towards more from the audience perspective. So I would request everyone just to go ahead and just have a line, just what is your department and what is your current job role or something of that sort. It's 4:35. I think we should start, right? And with me, I have my colleague Chinmay also on with my call on this call, right? So I and Chinmay are basically from Noventiq. I will just give a brief introduction about the Noventiq. Noventiq is a 25 plus year old organization, right? And it is HQ is based out of London. Okay, so we are London Stock Exchange listed organization, and recently, or by the next quarter, we should also be listed ourselves in Nasdaq as well. Okay, and to this session is mostly from Azure OpenAI piece of it, right? We will try to cover as much as possible in this call itself. Okay, and if you have any query, you can directly reach out to us. I will share my coordinates after this. What you can say session. Okay, and as far as agenda is considered, we have kept it as we do not want it one way communication to be happen, right? As this is a newer services, right? And people want more to know about it. So we will keep last 10 minutes for Q&A piece of it, right? I also have a few demos which we have done as a part of a POC to our customers, and I will be showcasing that demo to you all guys, right? Is there any expectation you are looking from this call? Please do let us know. I have my members in the call itself. They are just checking the chat window. If you have any queries, we can take it in between also. Okay, so I will just give, okay, now we can start, right? So before we start, right, I will tell you a few things about Azure OpenAI, right? As you all know, right, Microsoft last year has acquired OpenAI as an entity, and it has what we can do, it has tightly integrated with the Microsoft ecosystem as well, right? So it when we say it has tightly integrated with the Microsoft ecosystem, it means there is it also means it does not use your data to train their model. It is completely isolated. I will be covering that in the further slides, right? But before that, I just want to let you know is Azure OpenAI. What you can Azure OpenAI is not just a single piece of services which can solve your problem. It can be a multiple services, a blend of multiple services that can be used to what we can say to achieve what you're trying to achieve by using Azure OpenAI, build intelligence into your application, right? This in this series, what we're going to cover is you or we might already be knowing there is plenty of models which are already being live and since they are right, so just such as my ChatGPT 3.5, 4, and Codex and DALL-E, right? So there are few models of Azure OpenAI which has been recently launched by the Microsoft, right? And few are in general availability and few are in what we can say is in preview. Okay, so let's start off with this. Okay, I don't have much slides to share. I will have mostly focusing on to the demos. Okay, this is a first slide, right? Azure OpenAI. So basically, Azure OpenAI Studio, there is a few things which you should know, right? There are plenty of products which Microsoft had listed, and people is getting confused. What is a Copilot is all about, right? So there is one product called Microsoft Copilot, which is your part of your O365, which is used as a workplace Copilot for your Word, PowerPoint, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and all those things, right? There is something called a Copilot Studio, wherein you can build your custom own Copilot on top of your app, which can sit in Azure Teams, Microsoft Teams, or in any web URL, right? Which is a low code, no code platform provided by the Microsoft. Okay, so when I say a Copilot Studio, I mean a Copilot Studio is nothing but a low code, no code platform by Microsoft to create an intelligent application or intelligent bot, you can say, or intelligent service, you can say, right, on top of your applications, right? And which can be integrated easily on Teams, Slack, or web direct link anywhere, right? So that is a Copilot Studio. And what is Azure Copilot? That is Microsoft Copilot Studio. What is Azure AI Studio? So Azure AI Studio again is a blend of multiple Azure Cognitive Services along with an Azure OpenAI. Okay, so I will give an example, right? Suppose if you have some document processing that needs to be done, right? And document can be a OCR document, right? And you want to first convert into that OCR document and then translate it, right? Then there is no services as of now like which is on cloud which can do both the things simultaneously, but by using Azure Copilot, Azure AI Studio, you can build it without writing a single line of a code. That services is that features is already available, right? And there is a thing what we can on top of it, it's also sits suppose if you have a custom ML model which is trained by your analytical team, right? And you want to integrate that model's output or that models with Azure OpenAI. It easily it can be easily integrated with by using Azure AI Studio. Okay. So, and what is there is one thing I want to more emphasize. This is responsible AI tooling, right? There are few principles that needs to be followed for creating an Azure or Gen AI applications, right? Which we'll be covering in the next slides. Okay. So, as I said, right, Microsoft has acquired OpenAI, right? And that is where what it is basically going to do is it uses all OpenAI capabilities to go ahead and use it in the Microsoft ecosystem as well, right? Now the point is when you see the Azure OpenAI.com data, that the data is not pretty much secure, right? And it is trained on the public data. If you go and see the brain which is used for Azure OpenAI.com is mostly a Wikipedia kind of a thing, right? Which is publicly available and it is trained on the publicly data. And what Microsoft does it when Microsoft incorporates Azure OpenAI services to Azure, it makes sure none of your data is getting what we can say is used for training their model or to increase the efficiency of your model. So what models the models which is hosted on Microsoft Azure is a read-only model from the Azure OpenAI. Okay, I repeat, the model which is hosted on Azure is nothing but a read-only replica of Azure OpenAI service, which means, right, whatever brain or whatever training is been which is been done by the Azure OpenAI, the same model is being used in Microsoft ecosystem, right? Microsoft does not train the OpenAI models. Okay, when I say OpenAI models, you can name any of the model from be it the 3.5 or 4 or 4.5 turbo, 4 turbo, or in that sense, if you can say ChatGPT 4V or 4O or Delhi 2, right? They use none of your data to train the model. It uses the Azure OpenAI models, which is being trained on the public data. Okay, so if whenever you use co-pilots into your system, you have to now you do not have to worry about your data piece of it. Where is your data is lying? Where is the Microsoft processing your data or not, right? So that piece I'm going to cover in the next slides, right? So the only thing on the message from this slide I wanted to give is Microsoft uses the model which is being trained on the public data and uses a read-only replica of it, right? So yeah, this is what Microsoft says, and it is already pretty much documented. If someone wants a document from this, I can go ahead and share this, right? Microsoft, the model which you create on your Azure subscription, right, is not used by Microsoft to improve the what we can say performance of their product. OpenAI are not available. Your services, your models are not available for any of the customers. Okay, and it does not use any of the model to fine tune the model. All the models are stateless, right? And the challenges which we are seeing from a customer, right, when they say, right, I want to build something wherein it should be able to keep the context or all those things. I should be able to Microsoft should tell us whether how that can be possible, right? But due to the compliance reason or the compliance data security reasons, Microsoft does not store any of your tokens. Okay, and it's just take your tokens, take your data, run the model on top of it and give you the response. It doesn't not save it, right? If you until unless you explicitly slaving it into some Redis cache or some blob storage or some databases, it is up to you, right, to build some intelligence or to build some log on top of it, right, to know how what is the behavior of your existing customer, right? And that is where you have to explicitly save your prompts or save your outputs or save the customer history. Microsoft will never going to share any or store any of the data or any of the prompts which is been shared or which is been asked by the customer. Okay, so that you have to be that is where you have to go ahead and do it on your own, right? And one more thing, the any fine tuning you do onto that models which you spin off on which you have spin on the Azure services is basically belongs to you, right? That fine tuning will not be used by Microsoft, right? As I already said, Microsoft uses the read only replica. Okay, and you build your fine tuning on that read only replica. It means whenever someone else goes and create the services, it creates from that read only replica, right? So it does not use any of your data to go ahead and train, or any fine tuning which you have done onto the model is not applicable or not available to any of the customers, right? So data always belongs to you, right? Now the one thing which you have to make sure, right, whenever you create an Azure services on Azure, right, or OpenAI services on Azure, right, few models which are can be go on a pay as you go model, and full few which have to go with the PTU mode, right? Now what is pay as you mode and PTU mode, right? The PTU is nothing but the provision throughput unit, right, wherein you commit Microsoft that I want to use chat GPT 4 turbo. Okay, which means not available in Central India region or South India region, right? Okay, and I want to because of my data compliance, I cannot host these services outside India, maybe it Europe or in US, anywhere, right? I want these services to be in India data center. Okay, yeah, and the services by default, if the suppose the services by default is not available in this region, so in that case you have to go with the PTU as a throughput unit, right? Wherein you commit Microsoft that I need I will need OpenAI service in Central South India region. Okay, this is my use case, and it can help you to go ahead and create the service in the region which is not available. Okay, so that is one thing you want to you have to remember. By default, all the services are not available in all the regions. Okay, if you want the services to be specific services to be available on specific region, right, then in that case you have to go with the PTU as a option. It on PG mode it is not available. So talking about the Microsoft responsible AI principle, right? So whenever you create a WhatsApp bot or any of the open AI or intelligent bot, right, there is few standards or few things you need to take care of about it, right? So a few things can be accountability, transparency, fairness, reliability and safety, privacy and inclusiveness, right? So basically what it basically means, right? So it basically means is it is something a standard that needs to be followed or some guiding principles that needs to be followed for any Gen AI application to be built, right? For example, if you talk about the transparency, right? If you talk the system in intelligent for decision making is one of the what you can say pointers in transparency, right? Wherein whatever basically you create in a system, that system should be transparent. You should know, right, what where is your communication is happening to the stakeholders, right? And if you are using an Gen AI, there should be some disclosure or something of that sort, right? This data is being this response is being suppose if you created an image with a Gen AI, right? And then you should then this that image cannot be used for something such as the copywriting of it, right? Because it is being generated by the AI. So you can have the disclaimer in the image, right? This image or this video is generated by using a Gen AI or Open AI kind of a thing. That kind of a transparency should be built in the system so that people are aware, right? This is not a real image or this is not a real video. This is the AI generated video, right? And that is where you will be you will be letting the customer also know, right? They are very much aware, right? The with the what they are talking about, or they are communicating with the agent, or they are communicating with the bot or something of that sort, right? There is something called a fairness, right? So that is something which can be what we can do is minimize the stereotype of something of that sort, okay, which can be also what you can say is improve the quality of a services, okay, allocation of the resources and opportunity. That is what we can do by using fairness. So it is just like whenever it should be a fair playground for each and every one of us, right? It should not be like whenever you use an Azure Open AI, it does not the what you can say, you are not using it for fairness, because you are not using something which is inappropriate or something of that sort, right? The most and the most top one is the privacy and security, right? You should follow all the privacy and security compliance, and all those things should be in place, right? For example, the thing which I talked about, right? Suppose you want to use some model which is in not available in India region, right? Then in that case the better option is to go with the PTU mode, right? So that you are compliant with the government regulatories, and your data is not suppose you are falling under GDPR compliance, right? When data needs to be processed in India region itself, right? That is what that is where you should be able to go ahead and spin up the service in India region itself. It should not be like you are using one services in Central India, one services you are using in South India kind of a thing, right? And one the last one is inclusiveness, right? So inclusiveness is accessibility standard compliance, right? So basically it should tell you about the what are the parameters or what are the things you have considered for to be compliant for specific OpenAI or using when you are using Gen AI applications, right? So that is what this slide is more into this, and the basically the principles for this is one what we can say the some rules, or even the simple terms you can say tools to process training and practice rules and governance. So where, suppose if you are using, you are in some BFSI sector or some healthcare sector, right, and then you have to comply with some HIPAA compliance or GDPR compliance, right. So that compliance have some specific sets of rules, right, and for that specific sets of rules there are some practices, right? And for that, for doing those practices, for following those rules, you create an application that should comply with that rules. That is what basically more or less this principle is all about, right. And you have to make sure, like whenever you using creating any AI application, it should fall under these six buckets, right. So this is more a kind of a thing, you can think of it as a standards, or something that needs to be taken into consideration while creating Gen AI applications. So this is just what you can say, uh, the brief about all those six pillars or the six principles which I was talking about. Now moving to the content safety, right. So bots are so OpenAI is basically intelligent enough, okay, and to understand whether this content is safety or not, right. It basically divides your content into four specific segments, right, which can be hate, sexual, self-harm, and violence, right. So you can, so while creating this application or while creating bots, right, or we by using a Gen AI application into your system or into your video or text, something of that sort, right. You can directly the Gen AI is intelligent enough to tell you, okay, what in what category this response falls, right, and it can give you the response between from 0 to 7, that is up to 8, right. And it gives you the, suppose 0 being minimal and 7 being the maximum, is the range wherein you can get the four category, which is hate, sexual, self-harm, and violence, okay. So you can take an action basis on that, right. Suppose if you see, right, if your content is falling into the hate or violence, and it is crossing the threshold of 3 or 4, then it should automatically get rejected, okay. And if it is falling in the section, suppose if you are from the news channel, right, and news, sometimes they have to go ahead and deliberately there's some hate crime which has having happened, right, and they are showcasing it, and they're running it onto their platform, onto their system, right. And in that case there should be in that case, as they are in the news segment, they should allow those hate thing, because because that is what they are doing it for, right. They are doing it for for educating the other customers and all those things. So it should always under your control. It should not like the whenever it should not like whenever they see any violence or any hate crime or something of that sort, it should directly go ahead and reject. So what you can do is, you even though gives you the score, okay, now it is up to you what action needs to be taken. Should you allow it, should you reject it, or should you send it to the human moderator to go ahead and first moderate that content, right. Suppose for example, you can set a rule something like this, right. If it is between the section of 0, 1, 2, right, in that case you should go and automatically allow it, right. If it is under the section of 7, it should automatically get reject. If it is between 3 to 6, it should go for human moderator to just go ahead and review it before publishing to the internet. So this kind of control you can directly get from the system. It's just you need to build a logic, because the classification is directly done by the Azure OpenAI, and the score is also provided along with it, right. So there is nothing like you have to work to understand, right, in what category it falls, or what is the what is the score of those things, right. So that is what it is, right. And recently Microsoft has announced few more services in Azure OpenAI, right. As you guys are already aware, aware, right. There is something model which is 3.5 4 turbo, which and ChatGPT 4V vision is multimodality vision, which is available by default, right. Then there are few models which Microsoft has recently, what you can say, launched, which is Azure AI Studio, okay. As we talked about, Azure AI Studio is a blend of multiple Azure cognitive services, right? Wherein we can go ahead and see what are so if I told you example, right, document processing or document translation and all those things. In that case, it can go ahead and uh, without writing much line of code. So if when I say without writing a much lines, basically all the Azure cognitive services are can be used by calling Azure API directly, right? So these APIs can be directly integrated in Azure AI Studio, and you can build an intelligent app on top of it, which can be doing your OCR or fetching a doing your KYC, right? Suppose if you upload an Aadhaar card, right, and it will directly fetch Aadhaar number, and as it is into if it is play, it is that data needs to be marks or something of that sort, that can also be done, right? Suppose if you upload an Aadhaar card, it should fetch an Aadhaar detail, but it should marks the first 8 digit and should show only last 8 digit, right? That is also possible by using Azure AI Studio, which without writing a much line of a code, right? It is just you just need to just need to know what services needs to be deployed onto the Azure. There is one more model along with ChatGPT V, which was a multi-modality model, which was available with OpenAI like earlier also. Now Microsoft has launched one more model called ChatGPT 4o. Okay, with global deployments. That means it is available in all the regions from the day one itself. You do not even have to go ahead and request for the new request for the quota or something of that sort, right? There is one more model, right, I3, which is not the LLM but the SLM. Okay, which is also publicly available, which can run on the short data short, right? And it is the memory consume is all, I think is not more than 2 GB of something of that sort, right? So this can be used into your application, and you can have this offline as well. This is basically by the Microsoft itself. Microsoft is the one who has launched these things, right? And ChatGPT 4 Turbo Vision and Delhi 3 is one of the new services. So you might already know, right? Delhi 2, which is already being launched by the Microsoft, wherein you can go ahead and text to image, right? There is one more model which is still in private preview called Soros. Okay, which can be used to go ahead and create a video from the text. Suppose if you are suppose into the media segment, right, and if you want to generate some clip, or if you are any of the segment, right, and if your marketing team wants to create some videos on suppose the campaign which you have run, right, and you want to create a 30-second video on top of it, right? So basically what can happen is you can go ahead and just provide the prompt and tell them this is the prompt, right? And this please generate a 30 minutes content which has been done in Mumbai and so season, and it was the main feature was an Azure or Microsoft, right? And please go ahead and this 1 2 3 4 5 pointers were discussed. Please go ahead and create a 30 minutes video for me to show it to host it onto the social media platform, right? It can go ahead and create that 30-minute shorts for you, so it becomes very easy for the marketing team to go ahead and do all those things. So that is what it is all about, right? And this is something called assistance API, which can help you to navigate to the APIs, right? Suppose if you already have an application and you want to build a bot on top of it, right? So the challenges over here is the normal traditional bot. If you go with a normal traditional bot, so you have to select one, then you have to, for loan you can select 1 2 3, for personal loan you can select two, or something of that. That is a flow based bot, right? If you're going with an NLP based bot, right, in that case, how to call an API is a much bigger challenge, right? Which API should be called at what given point of time? That is where the assistant API can help you with what you can say with some prompts that with some context wherein which API needs to be called at what given point of time, right? That is where it is being used, and it is still in the preview. Soon you will seeing that it is getting live. So this is what the fine tuning of your models and all those things. So this is, and there is one more services which is in preview, which is a video translation. Okay, so if you upload a video, suppose a video which is in English language, right, and you are being a media segment, right, and if you want to overrun this same news in multiple different regional language as well, right, that is where also it can go ahead and go ahead and do it, right? This is more like what we have again talked about, right? And I will just take a pause over here and just want to understand. Do you, if you have any queries, just let me know. I think we are almost on time. I have a few more things to share, but before that, for now we will be sharing most of the things is like just the use cases. Okay, before sharing a use cases, does anyone have any queries on to the Azure OpenAI services, how it works, and any challenges you are seeing? Just for 2 minutes, and then we can go ahead and go on the further slides. I think you guys on Chetan, can you just unmute the participants?
Yeah, sure, Rahul. Yep, audience can unmute themselves and they can ask any queries.
If no queries, then what I will do, I will have few use cases video which we have developed. Okay, I will go through that use cases, and after that I will go with the remaining slides, right? And last 10 minutes we can keep it for Q&A. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me stop.
So, Rahul, just I want to know, will you share this recording or you are recording or someone other recording this session?
I think Chetan is recording the session.
So please, we'll share this video. No?
I will share the PDF of this PPT.
Okay, sure. Not an issue.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I will share the use cases, right? And the first use cases is on the medical or a healthcare segment, right? Which is wherein we tried to create a bot by using Azure OpenAI, right? Wherein which can be used by the local which can be used in the remote location, right, where people may not know the English, right, because most of the bot usually communicate in English, right? So this is speech to which is a bot which wherein you can communicate it either via speech or via text. Okay, and and the data which is being used to train the model is in the transcript is in English, right? So it basically understand your language, understand your intent, and goes ahead and give the response. Okay, this is what the first use case is all about. And let me share my screen. Just let me know, you can hear the voice or not.
Hello,
Hello,
my
my
name.
name. You are able to hear the voice sound?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
please.
Rahul.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Name
Name
is
is
Asha.
Asha.
How
How
may
may
I
I
help
help
you?
you? So
Please
Please
select
select
any
any
below
below
topic.
topic. So this basically we have created this as a segment, right, wherein you can know if you suppose you want to know about the cancer, right?
I
I
can
can
help
help
you
you
with
with
cancer
cancer
related
related
questions.
questions.
What
What
would
would
you
you
like
like
to
to
know?
know? So if you see here the language is in English, right, and you can speak to this, and if you see speak there is in speak, and it has a what is a cervical cancer. So the document which is still trained in English, it will go and give you the response. What is a cervical
Cervical
cancer?
cancer
Cancer
is a
is a
type
type
of
of
gynecologic
gynecologic
cancer
cancer
that
that
affects
affects
women.
women.
It
It
is
is
caused
caused
by
by
persistent
persistent
infection
infection
with
with
the
the
human. Early
early
diagnosis
diagnosis
and
and
prompt
prompt
treatment
treatment
can
can
lead
lead
to a
to a
cure for
cure for
cervical
cervical
cancer.
cancer. So now if you see, if you go ahead, the first question which we have asked is in English language, and it has gone and given the response. The admin has uploaded all the sections over there. So admin have complete control of adding the data and deleting the data. Now the second question which we are doing is in Marathi. If you see that we have changed the language and trying to speak in Marathi, what I have said is HPV काय आहे. It means HPV. What is HPV? If someone doesn't know the Marathi, right? So it means in English it means HPV. So it will
HPV
go
म्हणजे
and give you the
मानवी
response.
पॅपिलोमा व्हायरस, जो
जो
एक
एक
सामान्य
सामान्य
लैंगिक
लैंगिक
संक्रमित
संक्रमित
संसर्ग
संसर्ग
आहे.
आहे.
यात
यात
जो
जो
शेवटी
शेवटी
कर्करोगात
कर्करोगात
बदलू
बदलू
शकतो.
शकतो.
उदाहरणार्थ,
उदाहरणार्थ
गर्भाशयग्रीवाच्या
गर्भाशयग्रीवाच्या
उपचार
उपचार
केलेल्या
केलेल्या
HPV
HPV
संसर्गामुळे
संसर्गामुळे
गर्भाशयग्रीवाचा
गर्भाशयग्रीवाचा
95%
95%
कर्करोग
कर्करोग
होऊ
होऊ
शकतो.
शकतो. So if you see the document which is being used to train this model is still in the English, right? And the it is intelligent enough to go ahead and give the response. And the best part is there is no word in Marathi which is called HPV, right? So it is not word to word conversation. It just understand, right, what you are trying to say, and try to search something in the similar thing in the document and try to understand your intent and give the response. And if you see the response in this in this demo itself, right, we have kept the response as much informative as this is an informational word. For the knowing for the person should know the disease about the disease. That is where if you see the responses which are quite big. Now what I'm going to do is I will speak in Hindi. If you see I selected the language of Hindi and I'm asking the question. क्या सरकार के पास एचपीवी के लिए टीकाकरण है. So there is something. It means it does the
हाँ,
government has a
सरकार ने अपने
vaccination for the.
टीकाकरण कार्यक्रम में मानव पेपिलोमा वायरस एचपीवी के खिलाफ वैक्सीन को शामिल करने के अपने इरादे की घोषणा की है। सर्वोवैक नामक और सीरम इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इंडिया द्वारा विकसित वैक्सीन 9 से 14 वर्ष की आयु की सभी पात्र लड़कियों को कवर करते हुए 3 वर्ष।
So basically, the idea here is it can be. So here we have used Azure Cognitive Services, Azure speech to text, Azure OpenAI. Now the bot with the newer model itself, right? It can basically understand your language and try to give the response directly. Also, that is also one model which is being in preview. Soon you will see it will be in the GA soon. Okay, this is one use cases that we have done. Now the second use cases which I want to tell is something which is on similar lines. Okay, but this is something fetching for the specific data from the document. And if you see, and so the previous one was not taking a context, right? Context of the first question can be independent of the second question, right? Now the second bot which we are going to show you is a WhatsApp bot, right? And wherein it understands the context from the previous messages you have asked, and basis on your previous questions accumulating gives you the response, right? Just let me open this as well. So this is a bot, right? We have trained this on a bot for a data which is available on 99 acres for the Godrej, right? So it's saying hi. So it just give the response, right? How I can assist you today. So it just asks any property near Chandivali. Chandivali is nothing but a place is in Mumbai. So it is not a form flow, right? Wherein you want to, there's drop down wherein you want to select some property, something of that. So it goes and give the yes, yes. Godrej Urban Park is a property located in Chandivali, Mumbai, right? Now I tell him to tell me more about the urban park. Now, if you see, the response will be quite bigger, right? Because I'm deliberately telling them to give the brief response, right? Otherwise, the response what we have kept for this bot is pretty much straightforward and pinpoint, right? Now what I'm doing is I'm just asking the RERA number of the Godrej Urban Park, right? And if you see what I'm going to do over here is I will not again tell them to give me the something which is more related to the urban park, right? So what I've done here is I tell me the RERA number of urban park. It goes and give the response. The RERA number is something like this. So now the follow-up question which I have done over is cost of 2 BHK. I have not asked me cost of 2 BHK in urban park, right? If you know, right, it understand I'm asking for the cost of 2 BHK in urban park. So now I just ask carpet area. Now I have not asked him the very to tell me the carpet area of 2 BHK in urban park, but it is intelligent enough to go ahead and tell me what is a carpet area of urban park of 2 BHK available, right? And in the document it is mentioned as any amenities. So it say yes, it provides all the basic amenities, which is the part of which is mentioned in the system. Okay, so I will ask such as. So it goes ahead and tell it just go contact the customer care for this. Thank you for reaching. So here the motto what the API which we have used is NLP based bot, right? Normal traditional bot which you see on WhatsApp is basically a flow based bot.
उधर से जो आ रहा है
Okay. So that is one thing which is does what does this bot do? Okay. Now the third use cases is what we have done is we have worked for one of the pesticide company. Okay, wherein it builds an app and gives the farmer. Okay, and what it does app does is basically it goes ahead and identify what disease it is, and basis on that disease it shows what how much sure it is about that disease and what is the pesticide it should use to overcome those diseases. Okay, so this is application which we have developed for one of our
Let me
customers.
introduce you our image AI model, which is trained for checking the crop health and analyzes the crop diseases, and it suggests the products based on the crop health. So let's open it. Once it loads, you can check the help section by clicking the eye icon. And here is the proper information how to take the picture of the uh, plant and how to upload it so that it will detect the proper disease and the crop as well. So there are two options to upload the picture of it. You can take a picture by using your camera, and also you can upload the images from the gallery. So let me choose an image. So this is the disease image, and we have to click on, we have to select if this is perfect. You can click on OK. It processes and load the result. So here is the result of it. The disease name is downy mildew and the crop type is mustard. The accuracy is 88.8%. This is the most important thing you have to keep in mind, the accuracy. And this is the detail of the disease of it. And in the down section, you can get the suggestion of the products which is useful for this disease. And here an option you also read which are you are reading the transcription here by clicking the sticker icon.
Disease name, downy mildew, type, mustard, accuracy, 88.85%.
Okay, so this is the model. Thank you.
So this is a third thing I wanted to show you. Now one more thing what I have done is, right, we have created one more application, right, and that is what traditional document management system. And what we basically do is we have built in a bot inside a document management system. So we have created a smart document management system wherein it can go ahead, and the use case which I talked about, right, if you want to upload a customer's Aadhaar card, it should get marks, right, and even not just marks the extract, but also in the document, whenever some agent is opening the document, right, it should see, they should not see the Aadhaar number, right, it should get marks, or PAN number should not be visible, or in the system front end also it should be visible with the extract mark. All those things are the feature of this application, right, wherein you just upload a scanned image, right, and it will just go ahead and store the text out of it, right, and it's and will store, you can even go ahead and search the text which is been in the image format, right. All those features are there, that is there. And there is, on top of it, what we have done is we have built an
Everyone, hope you are all doing well. Today we uploaded an important document. It's all about future general insurance that covers various aspects such as the coverage provided by the policy, the age criteria for eligibility, the period of cover, sum insured, and much more. Let's ask some questions from our AI model to gain better clarity about this document. So let's first summarize the document. Can you give me a summary about this? So it's given a summary about this future general policy. It's a joint venture between Future Group and offering various solutions. Okay, the policy is a 24/7 helpline. Okay, and a dedicated claim team to assist with any claims or queries. Okay. Now let's ask another question about what is free look period in this policy. Okay, now let's ask what is the age criteria for this policy. Now check how is the sum insured in this policy work. How does this sum ensured in this policy. Like, okay,
So that's it from the demo piece of it. Okay. So there are plenty of more use cases which we have developed, right? And if you have some use cases which we want to try it out, we are also doing free POCs for a few of our customers, right? If I will just share my coordinates in the chat. Okay. So if you want to go ahead and try, so if you have some use cases for which you want to need to know, right, how basically OpenAI can help you, or how you can build an intelligence on top of your application, whether you are ISV, or if you have a own homegrown product, right, or you want to build automate some of your process, right? Yeah, that is where you can see the few use cases which we have noted down that can help you in four piece of it, right? Wherein OpenAI can help you in increasing productivity, automate the process, improve customer experience, or build creative content, right? What we are seeing is most of the customer are like it's their marketing team, it's using it from like anything, right? They have started creating content, media content, video summarization, containing of videos, or all those things, right? And creating a logos or images on from by using text to image for the marketing content. All those things can be done with text to image directly, right? So that is where you can go ahead and do. You can also do something from the customer experience as well, wherein you can create a conversation bot, right? Or you can integrate with your lead management system as well, right? If you want to integrate the data from your lead management, if you want to capture the lead information, or if you can if you have something for the customer service, right, wherein if I want to have a word with your WhatsApp bot and want to know the status of my delivery or status of my what you can say insurance, or how is my, if you want to do something of that sort, that case can also be done directly from the user interface itself, right? That is where it can go and improve your customer experience, right? And if you have some processes, right, which needs to be automated, be it into your claim processing or document classification or security thread, video surveillance, anomaly detection, anything can be easily done with the help of an open AI into the picture, right? And as far as in productivity considered, there are few productive tools like my with comes with directly from the Microsoft, such as Microsoft Copilot, or Copilot, GitHub Copilot, or Fabric Copilot, and Copilot for security, Copilot for finance. There are plenty of Copilots which is available from the Microsoft ecosystem itself, which can also work in the generic or some specific use cases as well. So there are plenty of use cases which we can go ahead and can have a discussion whenever required. Let's move on to the next slide. Next slide. Is it Azure AI Studio, right? I told you, right? Basically, it's a blend of all existing Azure cognitive services, which can be basically go ahead and use it with existing cognitive services, and it gives you what we can say bundle of AI services such as speech to text, anomaly detection, sentiment analysis, OCR content, class image machine, what we can say, computer vision. All those services can be easily integrated within the AI Studio itself, and gives you like first-hand experience with Azure OpenAI. ChatGPT for Omni model, right? Which I told you, it's a multimodality model, which is 2x faster than the traditional models of OpenAI, right? And it is even cheaper than the existing ChatGPT 4 models, right? Which were seeing ChatGPT 4V models, right? Which were a multimodality model, but was the throughput was still of ChatGPT 4o is much better than what used to go ahead and used to have it in uh, earlier versions of it, right? There is something called fine tuning, which is just Microsoft has announced, right? But what we have seen is until unless you are using some specific segment for your some specific area of your use cases, right? It is not required to fine tune the model, right? Actually, what I've seen, the 90 to 95% of the use cases can directly used by the can directly be served directly by the OpenAI model itself, wherein there is no reason or there's nothing such that can be used to fine tune the model. But if you are fine tuning a model, it gives you more specific or industry specific results, right? That is what it can give. Other than that, it is basically go ahead and you do not, most of the cases what we have seen, fine tuning is not required. Now, what you can do is fine tuning is directly available in the AI studio itself. So there is nothing you have to do on your own. There is just a UI available. You can go ahead and upload your data and start training your models. ChatGPT Turbo 4V, right? I talked wherein if you want to summarize an image or something of that sort, right? If you go some use some flow diagram and tell them to just understand this is my architecture diagram, just create a summary on top of this image, right? What does this image do? Please elaborate for me. It can go ahead and you basically go ahead and have the capabilities wherein you can ask multiple questions to the image and go and give the response on top of it. Assistant API, as I told you, right? It can augment or it can orchestrate which APIs needs to be called on top of your. So if you want to integrate with your existing system as well, right? It can basically go ahead and do that piece of it for you. There's something called Azure OpenAI with on your data, right? Wherein if you build any Microsoft Copilot app or AI app by using Azure AI Studio or Copilot Studio, right? Wherein data you can bring your own data and train the model on top of it, right? And you can use your data as a part of the as a part of its memory and will try to give you the response directly. Same thing, message analysis for WhatsApp. There is something called service called ACS, Azure Cognitive Service, Azure Consumption Communication Services, which can directly have the WhatsApp extension and multilingual support and message analysis with the WhatsApp directly. Okay. This slide, I think this slide is already covered. Now, I just want to tell few things of Fabric, Microsoft Fabric. So Microsoft Fabric is again data warehouse, or what you can say, your data lake or something wherein it gives a uniform, what you can say, uniform way of storing a data, computing a data, or consolidating a data, right? It's a service by Microsoft, recently announced last year itself, right? It does everything, every piece of it for you, right? From data ingestion to data engineering to data warehouse to data science to real-time analytics to dashboarding, right? And it can go ahead and stores the data. So what happens in the normal data warehouse when you create data lies in the multiple places, right? And it becomes very tedious task when you integrate the system with your data warehouse or data lake, right? So here, even if you have data in S3 or in your Oracle system or somewhere of that sort, you don't need to copy that data. It creates a snapshot, it's create a copy shortcuts and snapshots for that data, and data resides on your existing or your primary system. And just create the shortcuts and get the metadatas and store it into the one lake, right? So it becomes a unified or single source of truth for all your data, right? Wherein your data can be go ahead and you can go ahead and process that data. Okay, so data warehouse. So if you are using any of your data warehouse system, which can be on premise or something of that sort, if you want to modernize your data journey, right, we can also help you in that case as well. And the best part of Microsoft Fabric is comes with a Gen AI capabilities built in, right? Wherein if you have prepared a dashboard, right, you might have heard of a Power BI Copilot, right, wherein you can go ahead and query the data, query your dashboard, right? Suppose if you have a dashboard, but I everyone suppose you have created 10 reports, right? But if the people changes, the reports or requirement also gets changes, right? And if you go to your team, right, tell them to I want the different view for this, right? And it can take times, or sometimes it can take even months, right, to prepare those kind of reports, right? So if you have something called Power BI Copilot, and if you want to view something specific, or suppose if you're on a call or you're discussing some use cases or discussing some problem, right? Where it went wrong, right? What was the iteration, why the sales goes down and all, something of that sort, right? That is where a copilot features will can be what can be more beneficial for you, wherein you can just like a normal NLP queries, and basis on that you can get a outcome or a dashboard directly pop out, right? So it can help you in decision making as well. Fabric is nothing but what you can say is just what a component which I talked about, right? From it's basically from your data ingestion to your power dashboarding, everything is there in there itself, right? So I think that's all from my side. I think I am done before time. Okay, we have 5 minutes. If you have any queries, just let me know. We are open for Q&A. Okay, and by that time, what I will do is I will just have my our coordinates in the chat, right? Mine and Chinmay. Okay, so that you can go ahead and anytime can reach out to us if you have any queries.
Hi Rahul.
Hi
Am I
Purva.
audible? Yeah,
Yes,
hi.
yes,
So
you are audible.
I am from Shalina Healthcare. Firstly, thank you for an insightful presentation and thank you for sharing the use cases with us. I just had one question that have you created these applications using Azure OpenAI Studio, or which is a low code, like using the low code no code approach, or can you, if you can just share the that how did you manage to build that? Just a quick summary would be very helpful.
Yeah, so basically, it can be done in both the places. It can be done by using no code, low code, as well as a pro code as well, right? So it can be built with Azure OpenAI or Copilot Studio, something which I've talked about, wherein you just pump in your data, ingest your data, and models are basically it's a drag and drop kind of a thing, and you can anytime can go ahead and update it, delete it. As soon as you go ahead and delete it and update it, the models, the embeddings and the vectors would also vectors on behind the scene also gets updated or deleted. Okay, so if you have anything that you are looking for some POCs, as I told, we are doing a few POCs for most of our customers. Okay, if you are interested, just I think I have Chinmay shared mine and Chinmay's contact. You can reach out to us, and we are more than happy to do the free POCs for you.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much.
I will just stop my screen. I think we are done. Oh, sorry. I just want to tell you, there is a fun feedback link. If you just sorry, just give me a minute. Okay, there's one feedback link I have shared, right? If you can scan and give some feedback to this, it will be pretty much like help us where what you liked about the session or something wherein you want us to improve. Because we are doing it on every Thursday, right? So it be every month, every Thursday, right? So it will give us more insight what you guys are looking for. Okay, sorry, yes, someone was having some few queries.
Yeah, so this is Vimal. If you can, just help understand what are the prerequisites of, having the POC.
Okay.
Accordingly, we can plan something.
Okay, so I will tell you. So the prerequisite for the POC which we are doing is just you need an Azure subscription. That's it. We will not be going to charge you for any consulting. Okay, and one NDA needs to be signed so that your data remains your data, right? And we will not use your data to do anything. So there's one NDA that needs to be signed, and the second one is you should have Azure subscription. Okay, and there is one thing, and you should, and we will define a success criteria for the POC. If you can do us 2 to 3 success criteria, what you are exactly looking from the bot or GenA apps, and that's it, right? And we can take that POC, and we usually run POC from 2 to 3 weeks, not more than that, right? And it's just not all the validations are covered, but most of you what the input you give and the what output you are expecting is more or less we focus on.
Mhm.
The only
Okay.
two prerequisites is Azure subscription and NDA.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Chetan, you can stop the recording, I think. if we are done with the what you can say, we are done with the sessions. It's just Q&A which is going is happening, right? And I would request if you can provide your valuable feedback over here, so it will help us to improve ourselves.
Rahul, so are these bots or these applications that we can build using Azure OpenAI Studio, are these also can these be easily integrated with Teams or how?
Yes, it can be easily integrated with the Teams. There is something called Teams toolkit, which is available, and it gives the what we can say first class experience or native experience to integrate the Teams itself. Or you can integrate it directly with the Slacks or like direct line as well, right? So if you build an application in Copilot Studio, you can publish it almost everywhere. So there is a built-in connector which is readily available. You do not
Okay,
even
it's
have to
there.
explicitly code for Teams.
Yeah, so it's there for Azure OpenAI Studio as well.
It's there with Azure OpenAI Studio. It's just an API that needs to be called with the Teams toolkit.
Oh, okay, okay, got it. Thanks.
I think we are on time. Any other queries? You can wait for 2 minutes and then we can disconnect. If someone have some queries, you can write in the chat or something. And I think we are almost on time.
I think we don't have any more queries. Thank you so much, Rahul. Thanks for the session today, and thank you all for joining. So we will be sharing the next session of Tech Thursday webinar details shortly. Please do tune in. So don't forget to join us. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Rahul. We have